One of the most addicting feature of Warframe is that, it has this thing wherein you have the chance to discover really awesome synergy between weapon and frames. And man, that feeling of discovering something new every time while playing the game is so satisfying. Now, this video will showcase some of the most insane weapon and frame synergy right now, but take note that the combos you'll see in here aren't the only ones powerful enough to be taken even on high-level missions. There are plenty of combinations you can use, and I will try to cover them all in the future. But for now, let's focus on part 1 of the most insane combos you can use right now in the game. The first one is the synergy between Nidus and the Grande Prime. Basically, you pull every enemies with Nidus lava ability, and then kill them all by spinning with your Grande Prime. It's a really great combination, and it's endgame worthy, due to the fact that Nidus is really awesome at endgame levels, because of his insane survivability, and he becomes a killing machine with the Grande Prime. Due to this, weapon is mainly consist of slash damage, which we all know ignores any armor, and just let the enemies bleed to death. Pulling and spinning sounds easy, but to pull off this synergy, you need to have the proper mod setup for both Nidus and the Grande Prime. Before we dive into this combos build, I would just like to say that this build, or any other builds you see on this video, are tuned towards my playstyle, and most likely, they are tuned towards endgame levels, so, just refer to it as a guide, that you may follow, to create your very own mod setup for each combos. Okay, so let's discuss about Nidus first. There's really nothing you need to do about Nidus in here, but equip him with lots of range. That's the key to this synergy, as we will be pulling enemies with his lava ability. The umbral mods, adaptation, and as well as power strength mods are basically to give him lots of survivability. Now, let's move on to Grande Prime. It's all about critical, and having the viral status on your build. Since Grande Prime is heavy with slash damage, it's really great to pair it with the viral status. If there's one mod that's really necessary for this build, that is the cleaving whirlwind stance. After grouping the enemies, we will need to perform the broken bull combo, which will let us perform a cyclone-like move with our Grande Prime. It may take some practice to pull off at first, but I know that you can get the hang of it. Anyway, Melee 3.0 is fast approaching, and these types of combos can easily be pulled off when that update drop. The next one is between Harrow and the new Catch Moon Kitgun, with the Pax Seeker Arcane enhancement. What's more satisfying than seeing red critical numbers on your screen? The answer is pretty simple: more red crits in the form of head-seeking missiles. To achieve this combo, you must mod your Harrow with lots of duration, plus his lasting Covenant augment. We want his Covenant ability's critical buff to be always active, to see those sweet red crits every time on our screen. I did add overextended on this build, for some good amount of range on my condemn ability. I then added transient fortitude to negate the negative power strength effect of overextended, and then added redirection for survivability, primed flow for energy, and lastly, natural talent. If you also think that Harrow's abilities are kinda slow when it comes to casting, then this mod is your best friend. For the Catch Moon Kitgun, I built one using the Catch Moon Chamber, Splat Loader, and Haymaker Grip. This combination can give me 100+% of critical chance, when I mod it with primed pistol gambit. Magnum Force don't really have a noticeable bad effect on this Kitgun, and in fact, it can boost your overall damage pretty well. The only thing that would change in this build are these two elemental mods. You need to replace it with the right element, depending on the faction you are facing. And of course, don't forget the Pax Seeker Arcane enhancement for Kitguns. This will give us those head-seeking projectiles, once we landed headshot kills. This combo is really fun to use, but, let's be honest here, this won't be fun if we always die. So, if you plan to use this combo, then I advise you to team up with someone who will take care of your survivability. Say, you can camp with a Volt friend, and use this synergy to its maximum potential, given the fact that Volt shields can even boost the critical damage of your shots. The next one is useful when it comes to Eidolon hunting. It's the synergy between Evaro and Sancta Castanas. If you are tired with the metachroma in Eidolon hunting, then try out Evaro with Sancta Castanas. It's fun, it's not chroma, and most of all, it can one-shot the limbs of the Eidolons. The ability that we will be using for this synergy is Evaro's Navigator. We will focus on getting as much damage and growth multiplier for this setup. To do that, we must add a lot of power strength, and then negative duration on our build. So, this is how you build an Eidolon bomber Evaro. As you can see, I have all the power strength mods on this mod setup, and then, I have only 13% duration, with transient fortitude, and a max out fleeting expertise on the build. This will help my Sancti Castana's projectile to have the max damage multiplier a lot faster. The downside, however, is that your navigator won't be that efficient, and will consume a good chunk of energy. However, that won't be a problem in Eidolon Hunt, as most of the time, it will only require 1 or 2 projectiles to one-shot an Eidolon limb. Plus, you can set these up pretty easy on the Eidolon limbs. In addition, you can always use energy plates to recover your energy fast. Now, to one-shot the limbs of the Eidolon, you must give your Sancti Castanas a lot of firepower. An on-Riven build would look like this. It can still one-shot the limbs of the Eidolons, but you must stick 2 to 3 projectiles on a limb to do it, and always remember, ensure that you will always get that 16 times damage multiplier on your navigator. Multi-shot is not really needed for Sancti Castanas, as it will just add extra projectiles, which don't actually go with your navigator. It's just a waste of slot. Just pump a lot of damage and critical on your Sancti Castanas, and you are good to go. Now, if you have a Riven, I would advise you to roll damage, critical chance and critical damage, or any of these stats. I have a Riven for this, which has damage and electricity, and most likely, my mod setup will look like this, with Augur packed at this final slot. But wait, did you know that Sancti Castanas is not the only weapon that you can use with a navigator Evaro? There are more, but we will discuss that on another video. For now, let's head to the 4th most insane combo right now, the combo between Inaros, Criticat, and a heavy blade saw. You might say, squad leader, why not just use Wukong for this synergy instead, as he got more immortality than our resident Sandboy? Well, the answer lies on our little friend, the Cavat. Wukong don't have that much health compared to Inaros, making your Criticat worthless at high-end levels. The higher the health of Inaros gets, the higher Adaza's health go also. Even better, since we will be using melee, we can lifesteal health for our cat, to even boost her survivability. Okay, so here's the mod setup. For Inaros, it's pretty easy. Just add a lot of health mods on him. With the recent buff of physique, Inaros health can go as high as 9k plus, with coach and drift. Now that's without any outside buff. For the heavy blade Zor, you can copy my Freed's great scythe. Here's the component of this heavy blade Zor, and you can replicate it if you want. And here's the mod setup I'm currently using right now, a mix of critical damage and viral status. By the way, for this setup, I have more fun using the temporal stance, as it synergizes really well with Exodia Hunt. Each slam attacks coming from this stance will create a vacuum-like reaction, which pulls enemies towards you, and then opening them up to finishers. The finisher feature is just an icing on the cake. What really matters is the ability to pull enemies, which makes a great way to crowd control. And lastly, here's my mod setup for the Cavat. You might wonder, what is so special about this cat? The answer is, it allows your heavy blades or to do red crits on the enemies, without any help coming from a Riven mod. This is one of the best setup I have right now in doing solo survival Fisher, and ended up having tons of fun, while farming a lot of prime parts at the same time. The final synergy, for part 1 of our most insane combos, is the combination between a stealth frame, and Redeemer Prime, modded with the gas element. Evaro and Loki can utilize this combo really well, but if there's one stealth frame that can take it to another level, then that is the real poster boy of Warframe, Ash. What separates Ash from other stealth frame is that he got his Seeking Shuriken, which strips enemy armors. Now, this combination is one of my best solo survival setup right now. No matter how high the level, or how tough the armor of the enemies, they have no match against Ash holding a Redeemer Prime. Now here's my mod setup for a stealth gas Redeemer combo. For Ash, just put a lot of duration for your smoke screen, as this ability will be your main source of survivability. And then, add Rolling Guard on the mix, as you need this mod for that 3 seconds invincibility, to safely recast your smoke screen. And lastly, make sure that you have the Seeking Shuriken augment, and then up at least 143% of power strength on your build, so that you can completely strip the armor of enemies. And for the Redeemer Prime, all you need to do is reach 100% status chance, which can easily be achieved by equipping the 4 dual status mods, plus the Drifting Contact mod, and then, add Condition Overload, plus Primed Pressure Point for more damage. And lastly, add Primed Fever Strike, or the ordinary version of this mod, to increase the gas numbers of your build. In this way, our Redeemer Prime will do gas damage more often. So that's it. That's part 1 of the most insane combos in Warframe right now. I will showcase more of this on the future, so be sure to check them out. Like always, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. If you did enjoy watching this video, thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.